Immigrants, migrants, immigrations, eyes, and TBS. What else? Dans classe ça jodi a, moi pral partager avec nous quelques vocabulaire anglais très important qui gen rapport avec immigration. Tout d'abord, n'a mette accent sur prononciation et deuxièmement, n'a ba ou explication en rapport avec chaque mot ça yo. Et troisièmement, n'a ba ou exemple pour capable pi bien comprendre ça ou apprendre yo. Et pour finir, n'a ba ou yon bonus. Ça veut dire ou pral gen possibilité pour tande quelques monde qui a bay opinion yo en rapport avec immigration en anglais. Donc, gardez vidéo jusqu'à la fin. Je promets tout ça ou après. Let's go. We are going to start. Today, you are going to learn correct immigration words, differences Asians confuse sometimes, and how to speak with confidence. Après classe aujourd'hui, ou pas mélanger mots encore, ou pral parler pi calme, pi clair et avec confiance. Premier mot, c'est immigrant. Immigrant. Immigrant, c'est moun nan. Si vous venez vivre dans un pays étranger ou c'est yon immigrant. Normalement, nous pas dit I am immigration. Qui ça nous dit? Nous dit I am an immigrant. For example, I am an immigrant from Haiti. I am an immigrant from Haiti. Immigrate. Immigrated. Immigrate, c'est action hein, ou bien verbe là. C'est le ou entrer dans un pays pour rester, le ça ou immigrate. Et nous avons immigrated qui c'est passé simple ou bien participe passé verbe immigrate. For example, to come into a country to live, you immigrate. My family immigrated in 2021. My family immigrated in 2021. You can say family or you can also say family. Family. My family immigrated in 2021. Emigrate. Emigrated. To leave a country. Emigrate, c'est opposé immigrate. Emigrate vle di quitter yon pays pour aller dans yon lot. For example, Bob immigrated from Chile. He immigrated to the United States. Esther immigrated from Chile. She immigrated to Canada. Stephanie immigrated from Haiti. She immigrated to the Dominican Republic. Lily immigrated from Chile. She immigrated to Canada. Bob immigrated from Haiti. He immigrated to Chile. Immigration. Immigration, c'est système nan, loi yo, bureau yo, ou soit dossier yo. Laws. System. System. Office. Immigration laws, immigration system, and immigration office. Immigration laws are strict here in the United States. Immigration laws are strict here in Canada. Immigration laws are strict here in the Dominican Republic. Pabliye sa, ou pa yon immigration, ou se yon immigrant. Migrant, migrants. Ki diferans ki gen entre immigrant et puis migrant? Yon migrant avec yon immigrant, c'est même bagay. Ti diferans ki gen, c'est que immigrant là, li même li ale pour le rete, but migrant là li même, li voyage, li ale pour le rete, mais c'est temporaire pour travail ou bien pour l'activité temporaire. For example, migrant workers move for jobs. Migrant workers move for jobs. Immigrant comes to stay and migrant moves temporarily. Immigrant li vini nan pays pour li rete, et migrant lan li même li vini yon façon temporaire, ça veut dire l'aptourner. Est-ce que ou c'est un immigrant ou bien un migrant? Quittez réponse ou en commentaire. Pas oublier like, partager et puis abonner. Kounya, c'est moment pour nous faire pratique. Let's go and repeat after me. I am an immigrant. My family immigrated. He immigrated from Haiti. Stephora immigrated from Haiti. She immigrated to the Dominican Republic. Lily immigrated from Chile. She immigrated to Canada. Bob immigrated from Haiti. He immigrated to the United States. Esther immigrated from Chile. She immigrated to Canada. Immigration, immigration laws, immigration system, immigration office. Merci en pile le fait que vous regardez vidéo et puis vous abonnez. Donc, kounya qui ça m'a demandé ou pour faire, tant pis, partagez vidéo avec un ami et avec un famille et quittez un commentaire, faites-moi connaître ce qui sont après même faire prochaine vidéo. Kounya, moment nous tap tan nan rive, côté ou pral gen possibilité pour tande opinion l'autre monde en rapport avec immigration. Kage ti chez ou, mette kassou pour capable tande anglais. Donc, ou même tout capable quitter opinion dans un commentaire, soit en créole ou bien en anglais, qui pas problème. Nous pral tande Miss Neftali, qui c'est une étudiant nous, qui fait gros effort, kounya, qui a travaillé en tant qu'interprète médical, qui a vécu Dominican Republic. Après ça, nous avons possibilité pour nous entendre Mr. Audrey, qui c'est un petit jeune qui a vécu Haïti, Wanamet, mais qui a travaillé en tant qu'interprète médical. Et nous avons Miss Steffi, qui vit aux United States avec Dominican Republic, qui travaille en tant que Customer Service. Et puis nous avons une possibilité tout pour nous entendre Mr. Taha, qui sorti depuis Ouganda, qui attendait nous, qui va aller point de vue en rapport avec le sujet immigration. Et nous avons une possibilité tout pour nous entendre Mr. Peterson, depuis Dominican Republic. So pay attention and listen carefully, guys. Qui est la raison principale qui compte faire mon immigrer aller dans l'autre pays et qui est défi ou bien difficulté mon sa qu'on a rencontré là arriver dans le pays côté aller. Donc tant pis qui te réponse par là dans un commentaire. What are some of the main reasons why people immigrate to other countries and what are some challenges they face in a new country? Let's go, Miss Niftali. You get the microphone. Open it and go ahead.
But first of all, my name is Neftali. I am Asian. I am living in the Dominican Republic. I am one of common language courses student, and I'm very happy, as I said, to be with you to share my thought about the question number one about immigration. So, in my personal point of view, I think people immigrate for many reasons, and some main reasons are a better life, or sometimes not also a better life, but also, for example, if I am a kid, I can immigrate not because I have the choice, but because sometimes my parents they decided to live abroad, so I have to meet with them so that I can have a family. And when we immigrate, sometimes we face some challenges, even though immigration sometimes can be very good, that can help us to achieve our goals in a very quick way, and also that can help us to know new culture, that can help us a lot, that can help us to help our family in our country. But there are a lot of challenges. For example, first of them, the first of them is the language, because if I'm from Haiti, my mother tongue is a Creole, so I decided to move in another country that can be a French, a English or a Spanish speaking country. So if I don't have any knowledge about that language, so I have to know that I'm going to be facing challenges. Even though I know a little bit about that language, I have to know that what I have learned at school is not the same in the reality. For example, if you have learned Spanish and NAD at school, and you came right here in the Dominican Republic, when people are speaking, you're going to say, "Oh my God, I cannot understand any word that they are saying," because that's the real life. That is not the classroom. And also some new challenges can be the difference between culture. For example, something can be acceptable in my country, but in the other country, that is not acceptable at all. And also, something can be unacceptable in my country, can be the worst thing in the universe, but in that country, it's something normal, something that it's like a cultural thing. So those kind of challenges, when we face them, that can make a good impact in our life, especially at the beginning of that experience. Even though, human being, we are designed to adapt to every environment that we are in. So we know for sure that we are going to get use of those kind of stuff. But at the beginning, it is always very challenging, those kind of things. So that's my point of view. Thank you so very much, Jamaica, for giving me the mic. And if there is something else that I would like to add, I will raise my hand.
Now, we're gonna go with you, please, Mr. Rodrigue.
There are some people they are seeking shelter, and they wanna read for violence and for political, and leave the country for a better life, for studying, for well education. And there are some people they go to find the member of their families who have already lived abroad, and some people go to find a better job for safety, for good protection, and for good security in the country because they were not safe where they previously living. Um, there are several reasons and to discuss, like there are some people they always want a better education for their children, and they want to find a good school, and the country they oblige to leave their own country to go to abroad and to live sometime, even though sometime that's get hard, but they do that. And the second part, well, there are many challenges. Like when you face that, you sometimes there are that we call language barrier, and if you didn't know anything and how to communicate in the language where where the language the country is spoken, that can be hard for you. And you can see something sometimes some people they are racist, and you will find a lot of racism, and that can be hard for you to get a new job, a better life, a good lifestyle. Because when you go abroad, like you immigrate in the country, it's like you scratch from 0 to 10. That's why sometimes that can hard for you. That is my point of view.
Now, Miss Taffy, it's your turn. You get the mic.
I think the main reason I can see them from sometimes is a first. Sometimes people choose to immigrate, but sometimes you don't have other choice. Like somebody who's gonna fled the country because of violence or because they want to take his or her life or the family. They're gonna get harmed if they stay. They flee the country. Like that, you don't have choice. You have to flee if you want to survive. And sometimes they get asylum from the embassy and the nearest um where they are. Sometimes it's like that, but sometimes it's a try. You just choose to go somewhere you know you're gonna have a better life. Like we know a lot of people as Asian, we know that we immigrate from a lot of countries. Like me, I'm an immigrant. I already do two countries already as an immigrant. And we know sometimes when we go there, we want to seek a better life. One of them is to work. As human beings, we want to work to get some money, to bring things on the table for our family. Sometimes when we couldn't find work in our own country, it's difficult. We want to move somewhere, another way to get better opportunity or better job, another way to help ourselves and other people. And the second, like I said, is violence, insecurities, like in Haiti. We can have a lot of experiences as we're talking to other person. They say if didn't have any insecurities in Haiti, they would not immigrate to the United States. They will not immigrate to Canada. They will not immigrate to Dominican Republic. But because of the insecurity, They have to move away from their country. It's not only for us. I like people who's from Ukraine. They have to move from the country because of the war. Sometimes war also is one of the main reasons why people immigrate. And the last one I want to talk about is reunification familia. Sometimes there are people who's out from 10, 5 years, and when they get the residency from the country they are in, and they try to get a family, to live in the same um country as them, but as them is like immigrate too. I think this is the three reasons I want to mention why people do migrate. And the second part of the question is, what are some challenges they face in a new country? There's a lot of challenges, like the other guys already talked about, and one of the last comment I hear is language barriers. I do I know what it feels when you cannot express yourself. When I used to live in the US, it's really painful when you want to go somewhere. Even sometimes the name, even your DOB, like mean the date of birth, the person know it and the mother tongue they talk, but they cannot express themselves to let the person know what the basic things they want to know. And the second thing I see people is facing when they move away is racism and familial problem. Sometimes the person wants to support you for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, but if you could not bring something in the house, sometimes get things getting sour, and sometimes they throw people out. People just living on the street. They didn't know they're gonna face these challenges, and sometimes people get betrayed. They say you can come, I'm gonna receive you, but when you cross the border, when it's the immigration court, they call, they couldn't get through. There are a lot of people facing deportation sometimes because they stay in the street. They didn't think they're gonna do that. Sometimes you move abroad for a better life, but sometimes you get a lot of bad things happen in your life when you move in some country without any person to support you. That's really hard. I think this is one of the things I see with my own eyes. When you move and you don't have anybody to support you, the 5 months, the 6 months without a job, it's really tough to survive in a new country. You just immigrated.
So now it's going to be you, our dear brother, Mr. Taha from Uganda. You get the microphone, brother, so open it and try to convey your message.
It's me, Taha. I'm listening from Uganda, Kampala.
Interesting.
Thank you for offering me this opportunity. And today you're having such a crucial topic title, which is about and it is vital to be discussed about the immigration. So immigration, it is something that phenomenal in our life since the lives happened, or since this world is being invented, or since the people come in this life. So people immigrate in this life. Why do some people immigrate? The thing is that first they are immigrate because of the economical factor. So because they would like to have individual or seeking for to have better job and opportunities in their life. So the second things that's supposed to be for them, they are searching for better life, to improve their quality of life in the place where they live. Sometimes should be the case of racism, as so many members have mentioned. Economical stability, even it is important for them. So with the economical stability, they would like to raise or to high the high wages, to have a good quality in their life in order to be able to support themselves and sometimes their family. Not only, but also family, they could have extended family or a small family. Should be the reason of that. Sometimes it should be which means the war stability of the an insecure stability in the countries that which it led the people to travel to leave their homes. And the challenge that they will face, those people, there are so many challenges. To call it, we can name it under the cultural shock, language, food, and new environment, and I could say like even communicating with others should be the one of the cultural shock. Political stability, according to the war and that stuff, even it is that makes the people to travel away and leave their countries. That's it.
Okay, so now we're gonna go with a different boîte. You get the microphone, please open it, say your name, and go ahead.
So it's a pleasure for me to be here with you in the group. So I don't have word to express my happiness because so when you choose practice, so you do a beautiful things because English is not your mother's tongue, your father's tongue. You need to practice it every day. When you practice it, I think you're gonna be better. So, like I said to you, it's a pleasure to talk about this nice subject. What what are some of the main reason why people immigrate to other countries? Okay, for me, so there are a bunch of reasons people like immigrate to other countries. First of all, people like to immigrate to some other countries because they want to find a better job. They want to have higher salaries, and they they have when they immigrate to other countries, they I can say they can be more at ease because when you travel, you have more experience and or something of thing like this. And about the challenges people can face in a new country, I can say that. So they always have problem to communicate very well. You get what I'm saying? And uh, and they have difficulty to find a good job or services, and because they are new in the country. And I think it's all that I could say about the subject. I don't have more things else to say.
Connaissance, c'est celle bagay yo pa jam ka apprendre nan men yo, même si yo ta deporté yo. Apprendre anglais tande, ou sonje mte pale yo. My name is Steffi from Comwad Language Courses. Nan Comwad Language Courses, nou itilize pi bon méthode ki se méthode konvèsasyon. Nou pa focus sur wèk gramatikal. Sa ki pi important pour nous c'est écoute, compréhension et puis parler. Ça apprendre pour commencer. Nouvelle session, c'est moi ça. Pour encourager famille ou ak zami ou pour yo apprendre parler anglais tout. Pour plus d'informations, contactez nos numéros ça.
Life in America is beautiful, but it's more beautiful when you speak English well. I'm Yolanda from Comwad Language Courses. Comwad Language Courses, c'est une école online qui apprend nous parler anglais. Li fait live sur Zoom, ça qui veut dire qu'on apprend parler langue anglais à n'importe côté dans le monde là. So, soit besoin, c'est un appareil qui a Internet. Par exemple, un téléphone, une tablette, ou bien un laptop, qui sont aptes pour commencer. Nouveau session, c'est moi ça. Ou capable d'écrire dans numéro ça, qu'on soit besoin toute information que vous besoin. N'attend nous tout.
In what ways does immigration benefit a country? Nan ki kek fason, imigrasyon beneficie yon peyi, sa vle di peyi kote imigran yo ale ya? Ki repons yo tap bay? In what ways does immigration benefit a country? Pabliye ou kapap kite opinyon pa ou nan komante, skwa an kreol ou bien an anglais.
Immigration benefit a country in a good or in a bad way. For example, in a good way, that can increase the economy of that country, or that the country that is receiving the immigrants that can help them a lot. For example, they can pay below the minimum wage with those immigrants, especially if they don't really have the legal papers that the country requires for someone to live legally. So some boss can pay some immigrant below the minimum wage, and also they can find people easier to do some jobs that the native in this country will not do. For example, many immigrants that when they travel, they just want to help them to help their family. They have a dream, they have some project, and they will do anything possible to achieve. So if in the country they was not able um to find the way to achieve this kind of growth in another country, they just need to work a little bit more, work some irreasonable shifts just to find more money to achieve the goal. So they are going to do it, and in that kind of way, the country itself is has that benefit from the immigrant who is deeply desperate to achieve the goal. So they can increase their economy in that way. But in a bad way, it is when the immigration is being something like excessive. There is so much immigrant, and no very there is no very high demand. For example, they have more immigrants than job in that country, so that can be a little bit difficult because that country, instead of increasing its economy, the country can be like, okay, it's losing money because the country has so many people on it. It's like a saturation in some way. But I think immigrant most of the time benefit in a very good way with that country, because things that immigrants is going to do, most of the time native speaker is not willing to do it. That's my point.
Thank you and congratulations, my dear Neftali. You did a really good job, especially sharing your thoughts that way about that question. Thank you a million. Est-ce que vous êtes d'accord que plus fort monde regrette tout de suite après ou te prend décision pour immigrer dans un autre pays? Qui sont pensé de quitter commentaire par où? Would you agree that most immigrants are unhappy short after making the decision to leave their home country? Please elaborate. Would you agree that most immigrants are unhappy short after making the decision to leave their home country? Please leave your comment.
I truly believe that after making the decision to immigrate to another country, most of immigrants at the very beginning they are unhappy. Short after making the decision to leave their home, the country, they are unhappy because, for example, I remember when I decided to leave my home country, I had 19 years old, and 19 years old living in an area, living with some people. It is not like 90 days, it's not like um 19 months. It's like 19 years, and I can say we have a root. We have somewhere that we all come from, and whatever what is happening in that area, if you decide to move to a better life. For example, me personally, the area that I was living in my own country that was not safe, and I run for my life. So when I first started living in another place with new people, even though they were very kind, I cannot lie, they were very, very kind. But when I look at the past, I just think about uh things that I live in my country, people that I used to share with. It's just sad, it's something that we have inside that is reminding you who we really are. And that is not something that, okay, money or better life or better position can just delete. That is that it cannot be deleted because we were born in a place that we can call is our root, and everything that we are going to do in our life, that is the history that is going to portray us, to remind us every single day. This is the person that we really are. So even though the area that I'm going to be living is going to be more safe than the area that I was living before, that is my home country, that is my place, my hometown, that's not something that could be compared. And at the very beginning, most of immigrants, they are unhappy because they miss something. They miss like a part of ourselves. I've read in a book that the author wrote, when I decided to leave my country, I just leave my past behind. And it can be something very sad because, we, for example, I remember when I first immigrated, I used to see people with, I mean, young people with the parent being very good, and I was just thinking about, I wish I could have my mother near to me. I wish I could give her. I would never be with to my mom if I got opportunity to see her again, because I don't have this opportunity, and that is not something that a better life can just help me to forget. No, I cannot. And also, when I remember things that I have lived in my school and then for example, sometimes we miss our country and we are trying to explain something that is not from there. That trying to explain someone that is not from there what we used to live in our country, and that person is just not understanding what we are trying to say. But if that person was living in that country, that person would have understand, and we can have a very good moment. But unfortunately, that is just something impossible. So that's why I say change is, as human being, we are designed to adapt in every situation. But changes, we just don't like it. We don't like to change. And when we decide to make some changes, we just still miss the past.
Because sometimes there are some immigrants and there is something that we call entertainment, and they see some people are making show off in the country. They said, I would like to go in this country too because I will be rich, I will make a lot of money, but they don't know the reality. And when they face the reality, they see it was not good things. It was show off. And sometime when you leave your relatives, you go on your own, you rely on your own, you have no one you can count on. Like everything it's count on, it's on you. You have to make your own decision, and sometime you have your family and you told them and you will leave the country to go to work and to find a better job to help them to make a living. But when you get there, is not the reality, is not true. And at the time, you will be stressful. You will have a lot of stress and you will feel so low, like because you are facing the reality. And at that time, you cannot be happy because and sometimes when some immigrants are doing a great job in their own countries, they leave their own countries to go to live in other country to find a high job. But when they did the job, they said, I didn't think that if I knew that would be happen like this, I would prefer to stay in my country because I got paid more money here. And like you see in the United States, there are some people they left Haiti when they went to United States. They are obliged to come because they cannot support the situation. They don't understand that it's not fair because there are a lot of stress and there are problems. They cannot find the job they expect to find, and that make them that gives them a lot of trouble, and they like fish out of water.
Pour qui ça, vous pensez quelques moun gen un point de vue qui négatif en rapport avec immigration et qui gens jeunes aujourd'hui sont capables pi bien préparer pour un monde qui a bien plus immigrants? Why do you think some people have a negative view of immigration? And how can young people today be prepared for a world with more migration?
I could tell you there are a variety of complex factors. That could be economy, cultural, and security threats. And it could be about the rule of law. Okay. When I talk about economic concern, that could be job competition, wages, that could be strained public services, fiscal impact. And to answer the second question, I think young people, could take advantage of that. Which means that they have to develop educational skill development before moving out. But the first thing you have to be sure about is to speak the language and to know something about professional. Okay, once you get all these things, you take advantage of the country you are move out. And this is my point of view, and I thank you so much, and I think it's my last word about tonight, and thanks a lot, but I'm waiting for tomorrow to say much more about the next topics.
I think some people have a negative view of immigration because of the way some countries treat immigrants, and sometimes because of people listen to experience from other people, maybe online, maybe friends or family, because what they have heard about the way the treatment they receive when they go there. Some people say, okay, I can just go as a tourist for a while, but I will never migrate, to another country. And sometimes because of the government of this country, the way they talk about people, make people want to move from the country to other country. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine. He said even though he get killed, maybe he will not move an inch to another country because he has heard, he have been heard about the way people treat immigrants. He said, I don't want to. One of the biggest example and we had is the country near ours is like the Dominican Republic. This is why I take the resolution to not going online to watching story, another way to not being hateful other people. When you watch some stories, you being hateful, things can happen, You can find some of them in situation you don't know, even it's not the same person, You do the stuff, but because you're being the hatred is too much, you just don't want to give a happy hand. I just choose, this is my choice, to not being listening. This is today I in the chapter 4. One of the title I really like, feed your mind with positive energy, If you feed your mind, don't think about stay longer and newspaper on listening nonsense stuff. To feed your mind with, with garbage. You have to feed your mind with good stuff. And this is one thing I try to do. Another way to not being negative. But I have been living in two other country. I know it's stressful. It's not good at all. And when you don't have anybody to defend you, it's become worse. If someone know, if you have a child in the house and you give him pawpaw everywhere, even on the head, people on the street will not, treat the same person well because they're gonna say, even in your house, they don't want you. How do you want me to treat you well? Because of the situation we have, especially as Asian in our country, they know if they give something and say, if you do something, I'm gonna go back. They know you won't go back because you're afraid. Maybe you're gonna get killed by your own people because these people don't like each other. This is what they think. Because things getting hard day by day in your country, they can treat you, all the way they want. And this is one of the things who's happening for our community. Is because they know you cannot go back somewhere where you're supposed to be going. But unfortunately, they mistaken. I know there's a lot of people you choose to go back because our country is not only Port-au-Prince is the country. Like Mr. Manuel say, Sigari is okay. We have okay is okay. But because the country is not getting well, people, sometimes is being seeing you unwell, and that push people to now want to go back. Not even in the United States. I remember like 2 days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine who just moved from United States to Canada. She was being discriminated because she was black. There was two of them was at the work. They fired both of them because they were black. Just that. Why did I do my job well? Yes, you did. But we choose to not working with you. Why? We don't want this kind of people like you here. You can imagine that? I know the friend of mine say she cried a lot. Because she say I have a good job in my country. If it wasn't for security, I will move anywhere. I would stay. She said I was get paid 3,000 a month. I got my own house, my own car, a lot of fuel, and I do more stuff than I do here. And you get humiliated just that because of the country. But this negative experience, when they share with the other people, that can, push them. Oh, if it's like that, I don't move. I would stay. I would rather be being free, give my freedom right here than go somewhere else to being in prison. Because like here in the earth, it's a kind of prison. So I want to go somewhere because they don't give you access to get the paper. You have the money. A lot of people say, even in the US, right here, we want to be legal. I know people who spend $3,000 in asylum process. They want to have something. They spend the money. Sometimes you have the money, but people don't want to helping you out. This is so sad. This is why sometimes people don't want to, can say, okay, I'll stay. I'll stay where I'm now. I'm good. I won't move away. I can just go if I got a visa to visit. But no, if it's like that, I won't move. I won't move. I think this is what the main reason is the treatment. The treatment people receive is not only Asian, it's not only Asian people. But as immigrant, you know what it feel like. You are an immigrant, Jamaica. You can see what that feel like to being, Sometimes you feel rejected. And the people say, I don't want to be rejected. I'm gonna stay where I'm now. But how can people today be prepared for more migrants? I mean, there is no way. There will be more migrants because there is one of the stuff we didn't talk about why people migrate is environment changes. There are people who move away for climate change. We never know what's gonna be in 5 or 10 years. There will be somewhere in the world we not being like people cannot be living in because it'll be too hot. Like I know in Texas and the United States, there's some people who cannot stay in the summer in some cities because it's so hot. They cannot, survive if they stay there. They have to move away. That's meaning the same thing can happening in anywhere in the world. Like it's gonna push you to migrate from other countries. But I think there will be more people because things getting hard day by day, economically, politically, things still getting hard. We can be sure there will be more migration in the days ahead. Thank you, Teacher Mike.
Connaissance, c'est celle bagay yo pa jam ka apprendre nan men yo, même si yo ta deporté yo. Apprendre anglais tande, ou a sonje mte pale yo. My name is Steffi from Comwad Language Courses. Dans Comwad Language Courses, nous utilisons pi bon méthode qui c'est méthode konvèsasyon. Nous pas focus sur règle grammaticale. Ça qui est plus important pour nous c'est écoute, compréhension et puis parler. Ça attend pour commencer. Nouvelle session, c'est moi ça. Pour encourager famille ou amis pour yo apprendre parler anglais tout. Pour plus d'informations, contactez nos numéros ça.
Life in America is beautiful, but it's more beautiful when you speak English well. I'm Yolanda from Comwad Language Courses. Comwad Language Courses, c'est une école online qui apprend nous parler anglais. Li fait live sur Zoom, ça qui veut dire qu'on apprend parler langue anglais à n'importe côté dans le monde là. So, soit besoin, c'est un appareil qui a internet. Par exemple, un téléphone, une tablette, ou bien un laptop, qui sont aptes pour commencer. Nouveau session, c'est moi ça. Ou capable d'écrire un numéro ça, qu'on soit besoin toute information que vous besoin. N'attend nous tout.
Merci en pile le fait que vous gardez vidéo et puis vous abonnez. Donc, kounya qui ça m'a demandé pour faire, tant pis, partagez vidéo avec un ami et avec un famille et quittez un commentaire, faites-moi connaître ce qui sont après même faire prochaine vidéo. Donc, m'allez n'a pour dans l'autre vidéo.